The Inflation Reduction Act, recently passed by Congress, contains significant provisions for oil and gas producers. But Oklahoma's lawmakers have questioned whether those provisions will help or hurt the industry in the long run. Alex Cameron has more from our News on 6 Washington Bureau.
Well, of course, the answer to that question is likely to vary depending on who you ask. I decided to ask the oil and gas industry's largest trade association, the D.C.-based American Petroleum Institute, API, for its take on the new law.
They really missed an opportunity here.
API Senior Vice President Frank Macchiarola says there certainly are some beneficial provisions in the bill President Biden signed last week. Greater incentives for carbon capture and storage, and thanks to Joe Manchin, a stipulation that development of renewable energy on federal lands can only happen if federal lands and waters are also opened up for oil and gas development.
I think it sends a strong signal to the administration that it's Congress's intent that they ought to be using our federal lands and waters to utilize all of our energy resources.
But while those provisions do hold promise for some of the big producers, members of the Oklahoma delegation, speaking during floor debate 2 weeks ago, saw them as negligible.
There's nothing in this bill that's going to increase energy production in the United States. Nothing at all.
I would agree with that.
Macchiarola says given the current geopolitical pressures, the administration's focus ought to be on increasing supply. But he says there's too much in the law that works against that. New taxes for refineries, a methane tax that will stifle natural gas production, and a lack of permitting reform.
It's very important. We have a backlog in this country of critical energy infrastructure projects.
In all, Macchiarola says the law is ill-timed, its policies misguided. Interestingly, many environmental groups also feel the law is misguided, but because they see it as making too many concessions to the fossil fuel industry. In our Washington Bureau, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.